Hey, Marshall students, how you doing this week? Hey, it was really good to see you guys on Zoom PE this week. A lot of people showed up. We had a good time doing our jump rope tricks. I want to invite you to come back again this week for Zoom PE. And also, if you talk to any of your friends on the phone or you happen to see them, remind them to come to Zoom PE too, because we're getting a lot of students that are coming, but I think we could get a lot more participation. So if you see anybody or talk to anybody, please invite them to Zoom PE this week. I am really excited. This week's lesson has to do a lot with stretching and different ways to stretch. We'll be doing a little bit of yoga, some yoga stretching. I'm really excited about that. We have done some yoga in our action-based learning lab. For those of you that have done it in the action-based learning lab, not everybody has, but a lot of us have. So some of us will be familiar with some of these things, and then it'll be new for some of us. So I also want to remind you to get your water, all right? And one of the coolest things about today's activities is that during your yoga practice, you don't have to wear shoes. So when we're at school, we have to wear shoes, but right now we don't have to. So I'm not wearing my shoes, you don't have to wear your shoes. As we all know, it's really important to warm up your muscles before physical activity. So that's what we're gonna do today. We are going to have a general warm up. It'll be a kind of a head to toes warm up that I've showed you in the past. And then I'm gonna talk to you about a couple of aspects of yoga. There's a lot that goes into yoga. I'm just gonna talk to you about a couple of the aspects today and teach you a couple of things about that. Okay, so first we're gonna start with our warm up. So get yourself ready. I have my mat here. If you don't have a mat, that's fine. If you have a mat, you can get one. If you have a towel or anything like that, that works too. If you don't, and that works too. So for our warm-ups, what I want you to do is I want you to reach for the ceiling. I can't see my hands anymore, but I am touching the ceiling. All right, and don't just reach up, really reach up and stretch all those muscles. All right, remember we're getting ready for physical activity. And I hope you've been having physical activity every day, guys. All right, now take your arms and let's do some forward circles. We'll just do a few of those. Remember, physical education class is once a week, but physical activity is every day. You guys should be staying active every single day, okay? Backward circles with your arms. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna move from our little circles to big circles, okay, guys? There you go, straight into backwards big. A couple more of those. And then we'll go forwards. Good job, guys. Excellent. All right, now shake your arm out. Shake your other arm out. All right, now what I want you to do is reach across your body like that. Across your body, take that arm and pull gently. Don't pull too hard. And we're gonna stretch all these muscles right here. Some of our altoids. All right. And let's take your other arm and reach it across and pull that gently. Good. All right. Excellent. All right, let's go on to toe touch. Remember, when we do our toe touch, I want you to bend your knees just slightly to take that pressure off the lower back, okay? This doesn't work, that's too much, but just barely. And then just hang your arms. If they don't go to your toes, that's fine. Some people will be able to touch the floor, some people won't. The more you do it, the more flexible you become. So this is a nice routine that you can do every day too. And just hold it, make sure you're not bouncing during this, okay? I know some people bounce like that, but like this, and it's not really good for your lower back, so just hang, okay? All right, good. All right, everybody stand up. Now, put your feet together, grab your knees like this, and we're gonna do circles with our knees. If I can stay up, this is good for your balance too. We're gonna do circles with our knees. All right, a couple more, and other direction. Good. Couple more of those. And let's move on down to our ankles. Put your toe out like that and do circles with your ankles. And you can go the opposite way. Good. And let's go with your other foot. Good, and circles the other way with that foot. All right, good job, guys. Now, let's shake out your arms. Let's shake out your legs. And let's shake them all out. Good. All right, shake them. Shake them, shake them. All right. Nice job, students. Let me come on up here for a second. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. And I want to talk to you about what we're going to do next, which is we're going to work on a couple of yoga poses, okay? Now, there's a couple of aspects about yoga, or an aspect about yoga, that I want to talk to you before we do our poses or our stretching poses. Poses are a big part of yoga, and I'm going to show you how to do those in just a moment. But there's also another big part of yoga that's called breathing and listening. I think it's important to do both. And what I want you to do is I'm going to show you how to do what some people call a cleansing breath, and it just helps you get centered and get you focused for your yoga poses. It's also an important time for you to listen to your body and listen to your muscles, listen to your body, see how you feel. If you're feeling good, not feeling so good, it's a great time to listen to your body. In fact, when you're doing this, it's best if you could find a quiet spot to yourself, but if you can't, that's understandable too. Just do your best. But a lot of times people like to be in a quiet spot for yoga or light relaxing music goes really well with some of these stretches too, okay? But let's talk about breathing. First thing I want you to do is this, I want you to take your hands like this, all right? Put your fingers up, and I want you to hold your ribs right here like this, okay? And I want you to be able to feel your ribs because I want you to feel what it feels like when we breathe. And then when we breathe, we're gonna take a deep breath in, and we're gonna breathe in through our nose. And then when we breathe out, we're gonna breathe out through our mouth, okay? It looks like this. Go ahead and try that. And feel your ribs right here with your fingers. And I want you to feel how that feels as you're taking your breath in through your nose. Go ahead and try it. And then out through your mouth. Let's do a couple more of those. Again. All right, good. Now, we're gonna do that a few more times in just a moment, but now that you know what that breath is like, that's the type of breath that we're gonna be using while we're doing our yoga poses. And your yoga poses are when you put your body in different positions, okay? And we're gonna talk about those in just a moment. But it's important when you're in your yoga poses to remember to breathe. A lot of times when people are stretching or doing exercises, they forget to breathe. And it's easy to do that because you're concentrating on what you're doing, your exercise or your stretch. But it's more important for you to breathe during your exercises than not to, of course. So concentrate on that. I'll talk to you about that during our poses just a little bit. But let's take a few more cleansing breaths, okay? And when you're sitting like this crisscross applesauce, make sure you're sitting up straight and tall. I forgot to tell you that. Make sure like when you're doing this and you're doing these breaths that you're sitting up straight and tall, not slouch, but straight and tall, okay? So you can really listen to yourself and listen to your breathing, okay? Let's do a few more cleansing breaths. In through your nose. And out through your mouth. Let's do one more of those. Okay, good. Now, we are going to be using those breathing technique in through your nose and out through your mouth during our yoga poses, okay? So, listen, right now, I am going to show you a couple of yoga poses. First thing I want to do, though, is I have a poster, and I want to show you the poster. So, here's the poster. There you go. So that poster will give you just an idea of kind of what we're talking about when I say poses. We're going to put our body into different positions, okay? And the cool thing is that these different positions have names also, and it kind of helps you remember what they are, because for instance, one of our first ones is going to be a cat pose, and it's a pose that a cat puts themselves, it's a position that a cat puts themselves in quite often, especially when they're upset with something or scared. So what I like to do is, so this is our first pose. This is called, actually there's two that go into one. One's called a cow pose, and one's called a cat pose, okay? And what you wanna do is you wanna start on your hands and knees like this. I'm turning sideways so you can see me. Make sure you're pointing your toes on this, okay? And then I want you to make your back nice and straight, okay? Nice and straight like it's a table. Like if you put something, put my water bottle on my back, then it would stay there, okay? So keep that, I'll move this over here. Good, keep that back nice and straight, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look up, and this is the cow pose. And so when you look up, I always like to go, moo. And try, my son's over there laughing at me and my cow. Okay, so go moo. Okay, now you want to look up as far as you can. Now we're going to go into the cat pose, and I want you to make your back nice and round and look down and say meow, meow. Now back to the cow, moo. And over to the cat. Now while you're in the cat position, I want you to practice your breathing. In through your nose. And out through your mouth. Good, and go for the cow. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Good. And let's do one more cat. Meow. All right, good job, guys. Now, that is the cow and the cat pose. There's one thing I wanted to remind you, I forgot to tell you, but today, basically what I'm doing is I'm introducing you to some of these poses. There's a lot more that I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to introduce you to these poses. And what I want you to, and I'm just going to briefly introduce you. At the end of the video, I am going to have close-ups of the poster, of the pictures of the poses, so that you can, actually at the end of the video, as you're watching, you'll see a pose, you can pause it on the video, and then practice that one. And then unpause it and go to the next one, and you can practice that one. So basically, I'm introducing you to a lot of these poses, but it's up to you. What I want you to do is I want you to practice these, okay? Not just with me, but also tomorrow, the next day. Try these for a few days, and you'll get better and better, and you'll see that it'll make you feel a lot better, okay? So we're gonna go into one of, well, there's two. There's two that have to do with dogs. There's a downward facing dog, and there's an upward facing dog. And the reason that they call these downward facing dog and upward facing dog is because if you have a dog, you might see, or if you have a friend with a dog, you might see your dog do, when they get up in the morning. My dog does this, Maisie. She'll stretch, and she'll stretch, and her stretch looks just like a downward dog. And I'm like, oh, that's why they call it a downward dog. So let me show you what the upward dog is first, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to kind of get in a push-up position. Your feet are pointed, and I want you to look up straight like this and see how far up you can look. And all I want you to do is hold that. And I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth and in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And that is the upward facing dog, okay? And this is the one, the next one's called the downward facing dog, and this is the one my dog Maisie does all the time. And what you do is you get on your hands and you get on your toes and you put your middle of your body way up in the air like that, okay? You can almost say it looks like a camel hump. But this is called the downward dog, and I like this one because it's not super easy. It can get challenging. What I want you to do is I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out Out through your mouth, and we'll breathe one more time on the downward dog. And out, good, excellent. Nice job. So we had the cow, we had the cat, we had the upward facing dog, and we had the downward facing dog. And our next one is called the straddle. And I remember last week during our jump ropes, I told you that a straddle needs to be apart. And if these were my feet, moving my feet apart like that, together apart, that's called a straddle. So that's what this one does. So what you want to do is stand right where you are, spread your feet, straddle your feet, I should say, right? Straddle your feet, and then reach down. And you are going to feel, this is a nice stretch in the back of your legs. And I don't want you to bounce, I just want you to hold it, okay? As far as you can go. And listen to your body here. If your legs start to hurt real bad, maybe you're stretching too far, okay? If you can't feel it at all, maybe you should try to go down just a little bit farther, but not too much, not too little. Just listen to yourself. And we're going to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and one more. All right, that's called the straddle. Oh yeah, I feel that one in my legs. And guys, again, I'm just showing you, demonstrating these with you. You can hold that for as many breaths as you want. You can hold it for as much time as you want. And then move on to your next one. All right, so our next one is similar to that. It's called the pyramid. We are going to be straddling in this one too. So straddle your legs just like we did before, but instead of bending over in the front, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend over to the side. Okay, to the side over here like this. And you can feel that stretch in your leg, in this leg especially. And breathe in. Out. In. And out. And with all good stretches, if you're gonna stretch on one side of your body, you should always stretch on the other side of your body. So let's straddle the pyramid on the other side. And breathe in. Out. And in. And out. And one more time. All right, yeah, I can feel that one in my back too. All right, good job guys. So we got the straddle and we also have the pyramid, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to move on to the next one, and this one seems to be one of the most popular yoga poses, at least with the kids at our school. I see them doing this one all the time, and it's called the tree. And the reason it's called the tree is because you kind of look like a tree when you're in this pose, okay? Now, this is not an easy pose. We're probably getting a little bit progressively more difficult with our poses, so it's not easy. If you can't keep your balance and you fall, it's fine. Just get up and try it again and start over again, okay? And it looks like this. So we're gonna get our balance with our feet together. And what I like to do is I like to put my arms up like this. And my hand, I can't see my hands up there, but they're together like this. Okay, so they're above my head. And then here comes the balance part. You're gonna take one foot and you're gonna see if you can put it right up there on your other leg and see if you can hold that. See, I look like a tree, right? There's a branch sticking out there. All right, and don't forget to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. I swear I haven't paused it. I'm still keeping my balance. One more breath. And out. Good job, guys. All right, now, you know what I want to try? I want to try it on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to put my hands back up, and I'm going to put this leg up and see how my balance is with this tree. And in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more breath. All right, good job, guys. That's a good one. All right, the tree pose. I like that one. Okay, we are going to do one more pose. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to post those posters so that you can look at these poses and try them on your own, okay? So the last one is, it's kind of like a push-up. It's called a plank. But you're not pushing up on your hands. What you are is you're on your elbows. And you're just like in a push-up, except you're on your elbows. So my legs are straight. Boy, I better, maybe I can turn diagonal like this. Good. My legs are straight on my toes, and I am on my elbows like this. Okay? And I'm holding myself straight. It's called a plank or a hover. Some people call it a hover, but I call it a plank. So let's do this for a couple breaths, okay? In through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and one more. Good. All right, great. Marshall students, I want to say thank you for listening and participating with me today. I also wanted to talk about one last thing before I let you go, and that is, I talked to you about breathing and listening to your body. I talked to you about the poses, and you remember last week when we did our jump roping, and I told you at the end if you wanted to do some combinations or combos, then those are really fun. It's doing 2 or more jump roping tricks in a row. We call them a combination. Well, yoga has a very similar situation where during their poses, they will do a pose and then they will flow into another pose, and it's called a flow. So it's kind of like a combination. It's putting 2 poses together, moving from one pose to the next pose, okay? So like today, what I did with you guys is I showed you a pose, we kind of took a break. I showed you another pose, took a break, showed you another one, took a break. But when you get into a flow, what that means is that you're doing yoga pose, and then you're flowing into another yoga pose. For instance, I'll start with my downward dog. Okay, here's my downward dog, and let's just say I've held this, for maybe, I like to hold them for 10 breaths. I try to breathe 10 cleansing breaths, and then when I'm done with that, then I might move right into my upward dog. Without taking a break, I just moved right into the upward dog. And then after I hold that for a little bit, maybe I would move into the cat. And then into the cow. And then back to the cat. And I would go slower during a flow. I was just showing you for example. But that's what a flow is. It's a combination when you have 2 or more poses and you flow from one pose to the next, to the next, to the next. And when you do that, it actually creates a really, really good workout for you and your body. It really does. So that's what I want you to try, okay? Right after I'm done talking here, you'll see the posters at the end of this video. When you get to a pose, push pause, so you can see it, practice that pose, and then push play to the next pose, pause it, and then try it again. And then once you get good at those and you remember how to do them, try a flow, all right? Try to create a flow of your own, putting in a couple of poses of your own together, all right, guys? Hey, thanks. It was great being here with you. I was really excited about sharing that information with you. Please practice this, not just today, but every day this week, okay? And one last thing, stay active every day. All right, Coach Neiner, out. See you guys.